Hello, nerdy cooking lady here, and today we're going to be making Pete's meat pies from the Deadpool cookbook. We're going to be starting off with the dough, which is going to take 1 package of dried yeast, 1/2 a cup of milk, 3 tablespoons of unsalted melted butter, an egg, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of dill, and 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. Then from there we'll make the filling and the other stuff. So let's get going. First it says to dissolve 1 packet of the yeast into 1/4 cup of warm water. So I'm busy doing that. While the yeast is sitting a little, I'm going to be mixing together my flour, my sugar, my salt. I think that was a little too much, though. I think I measured it wrong. I'll have to check. Shouldn't be too bad, though. My melted butter. And last but not least, until we get the yeast in there, 1/2 cup of milk. And we're going to mix all that. Got the dough starting to come together. We're going to put our yeast in there and mix it up some more. So there we go. Let's get mixing. Right, we're going to be putting the dough on our surface. Lightly floured it and going to be kneading it. Says for about 5 minutes. If your dough starts sticking, just add a tiny sprinkle of flour, but you don't want to over flour it or it'll be tough when you use it later. Alright, so let me get my other hand back. We'll knead this a little better for 5 minutes. Alright, we got our dough kneaded. It's very elasticy, and I'm supposed to let it set with a nice towel over it for the next 1.5 hours. So there we go. We're going to go put this probably on top of the toaster in the little alcove that isn't lit unless my phone's shining into it. And I'll be back in 1.5 hours. While the dough's rising, we're going to be cooking up our shallots and our onions. I couldn't find all shallots, so I used a little bit of green onion I had left over to improvise. We're going to be cooking that for about 5 to 7 minutes once it gets going. Alright, just when our onions are getting a brown on them, we're going to be adding our beef. They're pretty started to break up. I need 1 pound of that. Stir that around until it starts getting brown. Next, I ironically have to crack 2 eggs into the center of this and get my other one going. And we're going to treat that like a scrambled egg and mix it up into the beef. And as the beef continues to cook, we're going to start seeing those little parts of egg in here like we are there. Almost like very well mixed in scrambled eggs. Right, we're going to be putting into our beef mixture about 3 tablespoons of sour cream. There we go. Sorry, I almost spilled a little. Shake of salt. Shake of pepper. And about 1 tablespoon each of red wine vinegar and Worcestershire sauce. There we go. And last but not least, I have the liquid kind, a 1/2 teaspoon-esque of dill. We are going to get to mixing that up. And then once it's mixed thoroughly, I'm going to let it sit in the fridge to bring it down to a nice temperature that I can scoop it and handle it if I have to. And then we're going to put our pies together. That's going to go into our Baby Yoda dish and get put in the fridge to cool off more. Alright, last but not least, while our dough is still rising and our beef is cooling off, we're going to put together the sauce, which is 2 tablespoons of dill, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, which I can't find my poor teaspoon measurer, so... Last but not least, we're going to add this cup of sour cream. I put a little bit of yogurt in it just to take some of the sour out, and combine it thoroughly with our spices. And once it's all mixed together, it makes a very kind of salty sauce. But it has a nice dill flavor to it, for sure. And you can taste the paprika, so that's pretty cool. Alright, well, in a little we're going to put together our pies.
I just want to take a moment to mention the Gamers and Geeks Can Cook playlist put together by FalkGirl145 and Jeffic of Death. If you want to find other cooks like Tanya and myself, you head on over there and you can find Falk Girl's cooking videos, Quick Smoke's cooking videos, and lots of other gamers and geeks that know how to cook. They all have some fabulous recipes. I know I enjoy watching it, so head on over there. I'll slap it in the description for you.
Alright, while everything is still rising and cooling off, I'm going to be talking through the next steps, just in case I can't get the tripod in a good place to take the picture for it. So we are going to be starting off by making 24 little dough-sized balls, flattening them out to 3.5 inches each, putting at least 2 mounted tablespoons of filling. Going to put some of the egg whites we saved around the edges, and fold them over and seal them, and put them on a baking sheet with parchment paper, where they're going to be cooking for 30 to 40 minutes until about 350. Then at the end, we're going to be putting the rest of the tablespoon of water and egg white on it and brushing the tops and baking for 20 more minutes. By that time they'll be done, but like I said, I'd like to show you certain parts of it at least. Let's see if I can find a good place to set it up for you. Alright, we are going to be putting together our meat pies. And I gotta go get my filling out of the fridge. Some Deadpool. First of all, our dough isn't all puffed up. It's nice and elasticy still. We're going to be taking that and making it into 24 different little small balls to start making our pies. I'll show you a few, and I'll finish it up for you. Got some parchment paper on our pan. It'll help make not everything so messy and not everything stick. That one's a little too big. Sound effects not needed, but hey, it's Deadpool, really. Alright, we have all of the little balls made. Didn't get quite as much as I thought I would, so I probably did something wrong. But hey, I'm going to make these into pies. Need to do after that is flatten them out to about 3 inches around. Like so. Gonna take a thing, scoop it into it, and make a meat pie. But I'm going to leave this open so I can add my egg whites into it fast. Alright, our oven is ready, so we better get some of these made. Remember, again, flatten them out. Get as big as you can, or around 3 or 4 inches. Put it in the palm of your hand. Get a lovely scoop of our filling in the middle. We're going to take a little bit of our egg whites Right around those edges. And yeah, go ahead, fall out of your egg whites. Fold it over. Now, when I get done making these meat pies, I am going to take a fork and go down these seams all around it to make sure they stay closed. Alright, I ended up splitting these up into 2 pans, and I could probably fit a few more onto here, but that's okay. Heat up our oven until 550. Can't talk today. 350. And we'll put our pies in for about 30 to 40 minutes. Put these down here. Alright, I'm gonna set that timer. I'm gonna put on 40 to be ahead of time, and then I'll watch it. Oops. Alright, don't move. We'll be back in 40 minutes to check it out. We're gonna have a moment to square off about Deadpool's baked meat pies. They were very good. They had too much dill in them, and so did their sauce. So not everybody, including me in the house, really super enjoyed them. And it's not that they were bad. They just needed to be eaten in small little percentages, or honestly, the dill needed to be taken out of the meat part, so maybe put in another spice. I think I had a video of us trying them, but part of it was messed up, so I'll just talk about it here. They weren't bad. They weren't the best, and I'm not sure I'd make them again. And if I did, I'd try to fool around with the recipe just a little bit, or maybe take the dill out of one of the elements. Anyway, we'll see you in the next cooking video.